The Ukrainian drone strikes on Russian energy infrastructure are rapidly accelerating the collapse of Russia's economy and war machine. In August alone, Ukraine forced Russia to halt production at its fourth major oil refinery, cutting 13% of its refinery capacity in just weeks. This has created massive shortages of diesel and gasoline across Russia, leading to scenes of trucks queuing for hours just to refuel, and gas stations rationing or completely banning fuel sales. Russian citizens are bearing the brunt, with rising prices and rationing becoming common in regions including Crimea and Transnistria, where gasoline is only available via coupons or limited to organizations. Yet rather than acknowledge these failures, Russian energy officials absurdly blame the shortages on citizens hoarding fuel in canisters. This deflection highlights the regime's desperation and the mounting strain on the Russian economy. Behind the scenes, Russia is begging China and India to import its hydrocarbons, scrambling to fund its war despite dwindling revenues. Its armed forces struggle to sustain operations, relying even on North Korean troops as cannon fodder, sent to fight and die on the front lines. This dire situation is causing Putin's senior security and military officials to question his leadership, with some apparently yearning for his departure to end the losing war. Ukraine's persistent strikes also target fuel trains and vital pipelines, including one of the longest and most strategic oil routes supplying Russian military and economic interests in Eastern Europe. A recent attack on a major Russian pumping station stopped crude deliveries to countries like Hungary and Slovakia, cutting off money that feeds Putin's war machine. Nonetheless, some countries like Hungary continue to blame Ukraine rather than confront Russia's aggression. Economically, Russia faces a near-constant crisis. Wholesale prices set new records regularly. Inflation soars. Gasoline costs skyrocket, reaching 70 rubles per liter in some areas. The government's budget deficit has ballooned to around $65 billion as of mid-August, and many economists now debate whether Russia has officially entered recession after 2 consecutive quarters of GDP contraction. Ironically, Putin publicly forbade allowing any recession, even though his own policies and war have triggered it. This economic breakdown is compounded by public unrest and frustration. Regional officials dismiss shortages by accusing ordinary citizens, while the elite quietly admit the unsustainable nature of the war effort. Business losses are mounting, shortages are chronic, and the Russian population increasingly doubts the war's purpose amid tightening belts. The key to turning the tide lies in continued and increased support for Ukraine, not by sending troops, but by equipping Ukraine with the weapons it needs and sustaining sanctions that pressure Russia's fractured economy. Every time Ukraine weakens Russia's energy lifeline, it directly undercuts Moscow's ability to wage war. Put simply, this is an economic war waged by Ukraine's drones and sanctions, aimed at forcing Putin to withdraw, and it works faster and more effectively than any Western sanctions alone. The message is clear: if Ukraine can sustain pressure and the West continues to support it, Russia's war machine could soon be crippled, paving the way for a possible end to this devastating conflict.